of this series. And spawning in the bottom left-hand position as the blue Protoss, it is Root Puck. His opponent over in the top right-hand position is Root Minigun. So that was incredibly inefficient, by the way. Like, can you just think about that right now for last game? You see 2 Oracles in the beginning stage. You've gone for Phoenixes, and then you say, okay, let's stay on one base and tech over to Dark Templars and surprise him.
Yeah.
Right? That's like a 3-minute delay before you're actually like, okay, let's see if it works or not, and then it worked.
But I mean, DTs are best if they don't expect it. So
Yeah.
That's most important, I think, that it just caught him off guard.
That's so sick, though, right? Like, who says that? Okay, we have Stargate tech, but let's go Twilight Council, then Dark Shrine, then get the DTs out, and expect him 3 minutes later, after you've already normally established tech, after you've shown that you have the ability to defend against Dark Templars.
Yeah.
Dark Templars.
It's crazy. What I did like that was kind of cool was he did the perfect call to warp in that Archon immediately with 2 of the DTs.
Yeah.
If he'd made any less than 3 Dark Templar, Minigun's force field would have held long enough for him to put up a pylon wall at the top of the ramp, and that would have held long enough for him to get an Oracle out. But just Minigun couldn't stop the Archon warp in, and the other DT walked up the ramp and just won the game.
Yep. Blocked the spot where you could place that pylon. It just went downhill. Even so, I feel like a Dark Templar does enough DPS to stop a pylon from actually building up, but at least it gives you a couple more seconds. Maybe it's warping that sentry that you need to just defend against that efficiently. Well, actually, you can't. Archon, what am I talking about?
Yeah, it's just the Archon that messes that up, I think.
So we'll see if any of those shenanigans happen right now, but we're most likely going to see a very standard opening. I'd be surprised if we saw Puck go for an expansion again.
Oh yeah, I don't think we'll see Puck over for an expansion. I think we might see some kind of one-base build, though, either Blink or DTs or Stargate, though, I think any of these openings favor Puck more than the standard expansion build. But, on the other hand, he might go for a standard expansion build anyway, because he knows Minigun's style is usually Colossi, and that doesn't work as well on this map.
Yeah,
so we'll
maybe just
see.
go standard play overall because you know you could just outplay him in mid-game.
And he saw the games to crank, probably, which kind of helps you. Sometimes when I'm playing a tournament, if you see a player looks weak against a particular style, then you just improvise on the fly, ditch whatever you planned, and go for that.
Yeah, if I was in Puck's position, I would be going double Immortal Drop every single game. Because how inefficient Minigun has been against double Immortal Drops. Right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's incredibly hard to defend against that with just Stalkers, but still, Minigun has lost an obscene amount of units. It's just 2 Immortals and a single War Prism.
And we see a fast entry coming out for Puck, so maybe we'll see another quick expansion coming out from him, actually.
Oh, wow. And it is chrono boosted. The second gateway is going down. Yeah, I think this is going to be a fast expansion. When you get the Sentry, it's kind of like it defends for you, and it also scouts out at a really nice time. Around 6 minutes, you'll be able to get your hallucinated Phoenix into your opponent's base and see exactly what's going on, and then counter.
But actually, he's going for the Robo kind of late. I'm actually a little
Really?
confused by his build. He made 2 sentries before getting the Robo, and I think that's a little bit unnecessary. It's kind of safer than I think you need to play. And it's not going to put him in a good spot against the Stargate, I don't think.
I agree. And especially if Phoenixes come out of this directly after this. I mean, Phoenixes are seen as the big counter to a lot of Robo play, because when you go Robo, you have to get sentries just to defend against Gateway All-Ins, and then sentries just get eaten up to Phoenixes so incredibly fast because they're light and they have not that many hit points.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I think maybe as soon as, as soon as Puck sees the Stargate, he's not going to make any more Immortals. I don't think he's going to start teching probably into Blink and expand as soon as he can. I think that's maybe his best option.
Now, call me crazy, there is this one style that I've seen before where you just add on like an absurd amount of sentries, like 7 or 8 sentries, and you just push out and try to win before any massive units come out, and you're just basically saying, hey, I have a lot of force fields. What? Oh, the Oracle, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that only has a chance of working though if he expands.
It's incredibly all-in.
And you can't actually, it can be tough to scout if he's expanded. So I think that's
I'm
kind
just
of coin
Mike,
flips on top of
I'm
coin
just saying
flips.
it exists. Saying it exists, okay?
It exists, but
Hey, you'd probably hate on a reactive Dark Templar at 13 minutes into the game, but
Maybe.
it worked, Mike. It worked, okay?
I'm hating even more on what you just suggested.
How dare you? Photon Overcharge will be able to take out this one. No, wow. 1 hit point. Never mind. So it stays alive. Going to help out really nicely as it approaches into mid-game. Hey, look, he's expanding.
And going blink. Who called it?
Yeah. You did. Or it could be reactive Dark Templars. That'd be so sick. Oh, man.
I don't think so, though.
No, I
It's
don't
just
think
so
so.
easy to scout with the Stargate units. If you did that, I think you'd have to put it at some hidden spot on the map or something like that.
Just wait for it. Wait for it. Oh my god, please. Let it be Dark Templars. I don't think it's going to.
Me either.
But just to mess with you, Mike. I love it. Anyway, it could also be Dark Templars just to put a little aggression on, because when you go Stargate, you have to tread this line that's really, really careful, where you want to make as many Stargate units as possible without compromising your ground army. Obviously, Stargate just gives you the ability to constantly harass your opponents, and, well, you get free damage, basically, over time.
Yeah. So I have a question that's kind of a bit random. Does Guardian Shield prevent damage if the Phoenix is a lifted unit? Or is it, like, technically in... Because Guardian Shield doesn't work if it's an air unit, does it?
No, it does, I think.
It works on air units?
Yes.
You sure? Okay. So it helps, it adds extra armor to the militia
Because think
corps?
Guardian Shield works against mutas.
No, I mean it protects against the air units. But it doesn't protect if they lift the air unit. The units in the air, does
wait. You're saying does it protect against the...
the lifted unit. Like if the Phoenixes fly over and lift a Phoenix and there's a Guardian Shield on top of them?
It does.
Okay.
It does. Or at least it feels like it does whenever I do this. I don't know 100% confirmation, but it feels like the Guardian Shield does help every single time, and I always use it. So.
Okay. So anyways, we see miniguns adding some Immortals getting a Forge, and Puck getting his gases at expansion, and just tacking up to the blink still.
Yeah, both players going for exactly what we would expect. And it's going to be interesting because Puck is a little bit limited in the ability to go and take the third base, and that's normally what you need to do when you are playing this style. You need to take your third base ASAP. But even his income is kind of hindered. 43 harvesters, 36. You can see this is the effects of those Phoenixes. Still has plenty of lifts. And there's multiple places where you can place these Phoenixes to always do damage. Of course, at the main, at the natural. But even in this mid area right here, a lot of probes are always going, transferring, making buildings. That's a very nice place where you can always get a lot of probe kills.
Yeah, you got to be a bit careful when the Blink Stalkers are out. Although Minigun was very effective, even against Blink when Crank, in the series against Crank. I think Puck's micro looked pretty good so far, so I think he should be careful. And he's not poking in as much as he did in the previous game. All these Phoenixes have a lot of energy. Now he's coming in with that Oracle though, and the Phoenix is probably going to lift a couple and try to target down some probes.
Yep. I like what we're seeing. Able to kill 3, 4 maybe more. And now the Phoenixes are just going to get out of there as the Oracle explodes. One of the Phoenixes will go down. Was it worth it? 41 harvesters to 50. So things look good.
I think it was definitely worth it. I mean, that Oracle, it's not going to be too useful later once cannons are in each mineral line, so using it now, it's probably the best use you could get out of it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even count the Oracle as a loss. One Phoenix hurts a tiny bit, but not that much.
And we've seen 3 Phoenixes do enough. I mean, just stopping those 3 Immortals in a big fight helps out so incredibly much. And Phoenixes don't have a lot of priority either when they're lifting units, so that could definitely be a big problem. But moving in, I mean, Colossus, I'm not sure how this Colossus works out, but with the supply advantage, it might be mitigated if Minigun goes for a timing.
And I think Puck's going for Colossi too, which is kind of interesting.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. He has a Robo Bay down in his second Robo finishing. I don't think he's going to make Mass Immortal, so...
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Mass Immortal drop. Although it could be. I mean, it's Puck. He's willing to do anything. Now taking third base finally. But the third base has already been started for Minigun.
It's not that big of a difference, though.
Nope. Well, I would say the income, right? It's really minor as well, just off by 100 or so. They're at a pretty large saturation, 23 out of 24, 24 out of 24. So both players are not too far ahead or behind of one another. But just a lot of passivity. This is something that we kind of expect, but the real thing comes down to how does the delayed Colossus really work out. We've seen always in Wings of Liberty, whoever is trailing behind in the Colossus count normally loses out. But I think there's a lot of little micro things that you can do, and especially on this map, to really, well, I don't know. I want to say there's a chance for Puck, but it's so incredibly
it's looking
hard.
kind of grim at this point. Minigun already has more Colossi than him, and a lot more other units as well.
Yeah, if you look at the units tab, 3 Immortals, 2 Colossus, 6 Stalkers, and 3 Sentries. That's pretty meager. But the other side, it's 4 Colossus already. I guess Minigun doesn't have that much stuff either. So, again, more passivity. +2 is going to be researched by both these players. Charge is being researched for Puck right now. And third bases are going to be saturated.
Yes, I think Puck still has a chance though. Although he's behind a lot in supply, he has defender's advantage, which will help him some when Minigun does decide to move out. And in a passive game, the longer it goes on, the closer he'll get to Minigun. So
yeah, that's something that we always have to take into account. Like, yes, it's when you're ahead, get further ahead, but sometimes a lot of people, like especially the newcomers to competitive play, they always think that involves getting an extra expansion or putting on a little bit more harass over here. But sometimes it's just to have the main engagement, because the difference between, let's say, 180 supply and 200 supply isn't that much. But if you have the economic advantage, if you have some other advantage, you're going to be able to grow a lot faster than your opponent. So just go for the trade knowing that you're going to be slightly more cost efficient, and then from there, you're just going to get that overwhelming advantage. Yeah. As it stands, like, Minigun just... We've talked about this before. He doesn't have that want to just kill his opponents right away. He wants to play a slow, concise form of StarCraft.
I think my motto is more like, win ahead, win. I like to do that more than try to get more ahead. Because a lot of the time when you're ahead, you have a nice timing window you can hit. And getting more ahead doesn't actually get you more ahead. It just makes the game more even. So sometimes it's best just to attack.
That's so sick. 2013.
Win ahead, go win.
Win ahead, attack. That's it. Make production facilities and attack.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't work, then you can go back to getting more ahead.
It's so clear. All right, well, Puck is moving out into the middle of the map right now. Supplies 152 to 183. Colossus are plentiful. Let's take a look at how many there are. It is 6 Colossus to 7, so it's pretty even defender's advantage.
A lot closer than you'd think, too, because in Minigun, he just had a Colossus and an Immortal finish at his base, which is about 10 supply that's on the other side of the map. So it's actually about 177 to 168 right now, and that's actually going to be in this fight.
Well, we'll see how it works out. Blink Stalkers have to blink out. And remember, these defensive Colossus are so effective because of how they start with the concave. Whereas Minigun, you can see he's balled up like this. If he ever pushes into this area, he is dead. So Puck is playing this really well.
Big DT warpins in the main, though. Took out all the cannons, and there's still 4 DTs remaining in Puck's main base.
And that's going to be the Q. He's going for it. Nice time warp!
Huge time
my
warps.
god!
He had to recall. And that's why Defender's Advantage can perfectly change the entire tide of battle, and that's why win ahead, go win.
Win ahead, go win. So sick. The Dark Templars will be taken out here, not before taking out the one robotics facility that was Puck's, of course. Will be morphed into an Archon just to buy a little bit more time.
Now the game's actually about evened up, I think.
That's so crazy.
I think Minigun's big advantage is that Puck has more Zealots in his composition than him. So that'll make Puck's army a bit better. But so much of it just comes down to the engagement, the time warp, who has the better concave.
Because I can make an argument, it's not a great argument, but I can make the argument that the Zealots can actually wrap around all the units given a much better concave, right? Like, this is a very open map. You can be surrounded by 360 degrees. Not a lot of maps, you can say that.
Yeah, and it's not even so much about getting the perfect surround, it's just about having all the Colossi, some of them shooting at different stuff on the sides.
Right.
And the focus fire of the Colossi all shooting at the same clump of damage and just melting it instantly is what makes them so powerful.
Yeah, that burst AoE.
Minigun does have a much earlier fourth, but if he loses the fight, it could still go easily into Puck's favor.
We'll see as both of them are preparing to have an engagement. Let's take a look at the units tab right now. 13 Zealots, so it has cleaned up quite a bit. Another Warp Prism going into the main base, as you can see, and most of these Zealots are actually at home. He will be able to defend against this pretty efficiently. You can see Minigun is just sharking around, now taking his fourth base, so that'll help out a ton in the later stages. But look, trapping a lot of these units, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. And the major engagement is happening in the middle of the map. Minigun has... No, I'm sorry, Puck has the big advantage going into that.
Minigun took some bad shots there from the Colossi. His Colossi only killed 1 or 2 Zealots. But still, Minigun, I think he has the advantage economically, but that doesn't play any of a part in a fight at all, actually.
Look at the Archon count, 6-2. That actually makes a big, big difference. But going into a single area, and that was a great time warp, slowing a lot of the Colossus. But the Archon count is way too much. You can see these Colossus not doing a lot of damage, only attacking a single Archon, not utilizing that AoE. Puck is moving forward, and this is the type of thing, it all comes down to the engagement, and Puck is able to make the much better engagement.
Yeah, Minigun had a couple Colossi and some units on the right-hand side that just got isolated, and Puck moved in with an Archon and a couple Immortals, maybe 1 or 2 Colossi, and killed them all without them doing any damage. And then after that, he just swept through and won that fight convincingly.
Yep, and now the recharge. Now, Minigun does have a better recharge. As you can see, he's approaching his opponent's supply pretty fast, but the surround might actually work out a lot better for Minigun as the lasers start to fight. Probes getting into the battle, but it might be too little too late as the Colossus count is so meager. I don't think there's ever a way for Minigun to come back into this, as now he's losing all of his Colossus, having to back up with a time warp. This is Minigun's last hope here, and it doesn't look good as Puck just moves in War of the World style. He will clear up the natural, but additional reinforcements just snowballs this composition to a point. Well, are there any... yeah, there is an observer. I was saying maybe Dark Templars, but no way. GG gets called, and Puck will take it. Ladies and gentlemen, Puck will advance.